Ladies and gentlemen, hello, welcome to this presentation. And before us, we have a topic, predictors of intention to maintain COVID-19 standard operating procedures, SOPs, among students. This study was conducted by Prof. Dr. Sauda Wok, Hassan Radwan, Faiswal Kasirye, and I am Imran Semudu to present. The table of contents, we shall have 6, including background of the study, problem statement, up to until the conclusion. Without further ado, let's go into the background of the study, where we look at COVID-19 as a pandemic that, as we all know, that started in China and spread along towards the world. In Malaysia, it happened to be that in the measures to protect and find a way of neglecting the spread of the virus was immediately capped in terms of handling a 40 hours rescue the moment the virus was organized and recognized in Malaysia. And for this study, we look at the intentions to maintain and follow the standard operating procedures. And we shall use the theory of planned behavior, also known as TPB. Going ahead, we look at the problem statement. Why are we doing this study? That we look at how COVID-19 impacted students, parents, and businesses in terms of collapsing in international institutions, as well as a few other things. Education sector was immensely impacted globally, and not only to Malaysia. And there are so many other studies, including Daniel, Alapan, and Chong, who talked about COVID outbreak. And when we look at university students, we look at it as a problem from the mental health, from stress, in terms of how COVID-19 affected them. And we want to establish how they maneuvered through observing the standard operating procedures with the help of the theory of planned behavior. And this study has 2 objectives, and one is to find out the level of attitude, subjective norms, perceived behavior control, and intention to maintain SOPs among students. Secondly, examine the relationship between attitude, subjective norms, and perceived behavior control. The significance to the students, we find out the gap, and practically as well as academicians. So in terms of finding out the gap, we want to know how and the predictors in terms of COVID-19 or any other pandemic was followed up in the universities among the students, and then practically to see how understand the intention to follow COVID-19 procedures and relating to other studies, but to students to provide helpful information to health practitioners, educators, institutions themselves, how to intervene in case they have to follow the standard operating procedures. And academicians, we look at impacting how the body of knowledge in terms of adding to what is already existing through the theory of planned behavior. It is a summary of our literature, and we're looking at the basic principles of the theory of planned behavior. This bring out the intention to maintain SOPs, and we look at attitude in terms of intention to maintain COVID-19 SOPs, subjective norms, perceived behavior. So there is a lot of literature we explore, but because of time, I can't go through that. But most importantly, I'll go to the theory. The theory is the mother of our study. And before that, we need to establish who founded, who is the father of the theory of the planned behavior. and which was encompassed in 1975 by two gentlemen, Isaac Asgen and Fisherbain. However, in 2021, it was also assessed, and then people find out how they adapt to behavior, normative controls, and their attitudes towards any behavior. And this includes perceptions of their behavior, and as well as the theory assumes that individuals pick up different behaviors or intentions based on three fundamental factors. And those factors are subjective norms, intention, attitude, and behavior control. And this is how we are going to relate this to our study, like I mentioned previously. When we come up with something of this nature, we want to find out the conceptual framework. And this gives us the hypothesis. When you look at hypothesis one, it's the attitude with its relation with COVID-19 SOPs, subjective norms towards COVID-19, and perceived behavior control. In terms of methodology, we look at data collection, which we use survey, questionnaire. On top of this, using quantitative design for our study, and our target population was international Islamic University in Malaysia students. And as well as our analysis, we used descriptive and inferential, where we use one sample t-test and correlation. Results in terms of demography, we had a top population of 237 respondents, and among them, the majority were between 21 and 25 years. And in terms of education, but majority were bachelor's degree, and majority also were male, almost 70%, and as well as Malaysians participated in this study compared to internationals. In terms of demographics, again, we look at the types of standard operating procedures, and we looked at the majority from our analysis and results, look at the wearing of masks stood out, and washing hands regularly. And among the least SOPs that we have followed was avoiding touching eyes, So, and we could see that majority of the students or respondents had not contacted COVID-19, with a sounding majority of 81.9%, compared to 18.1% who had contacted COVID-19. In terms of answering our objective number one, we did one sample t-test, and the levels were maintained. And actually, we look at inferential. Here we look at finding out objective two, if there is a correlation between the variables. And we could see that the intention and attitude, subjective norms, and planned behavior were all in terms of correlating, and they showed positive correlation. And to find out more, because you could see that they are positively correlated with the 0.5 alpha value, we had to do more simple regression to confirm the significance of the zero correlation we did above. And as you can see from the table, that table 3 shows that the confirmed results show that the levels remained positive, which actually show that there is a positive correlation between the variables, subjective norms, perceived behavior control, and attitude. So in terms of conclusions, we can see that among the 237 respondents, we had an overall, and the students among them were internationals and Malaysians, as well as generally you could see the variables were moderate but statistically significant, as from table 1 and table 2 and table 3. That is as far as the conclusion is concerned. We can see that we also had some limitations, but because of time, I would say that we had online between the times of COVID. It was specifically not easy, but we tried our best. And that is what we can say from our study. Thank you so much for